Welcome to Shellie Live. I'm your host, Shellie Carter, owner and founder of Alder Healing Center here in beautiful Lombard. Here we provide holistic health for the body, mind, and the spirit. I am beyond excited to introduce a friend of mine to you, Darrel Steen. Darrel, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here. So, the topic that I've been hearing day in and day out these days is what in the heck is going on out here? And then what are some predictions? What are we manifesting? What's been manifesting out in the world and the stars and all of that? But before we even dive into that, Darrel, would you share a little bit about yourself? We were talking earlier today and kind of backtracking into how long we've known each other. So it's been about 7, 8 years now.
I would guess 7 because of what's happening today.
Okay. Okay. So why would you say 7 because of what's happening today?
Well, everything runs in 7-year cycles. I mean, the 7-year itch is the main one, but everything runs in 7-year cycles. So every 7th year of living life, or the 7th year of living somewhere, the 7th year of a career or whatever, there's a turn, there's a change. Mm-hmm. It either strengthens because the people can face reality or not. Yeah. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. So Darrel has been a full-time astrologer for 35 years now, and he actually started studying at the age of 16. So I don't know how many of you out there really know what you want to do at the age of 16. Some do, a lot don't. But Darrel, I'd like you to share a little bit about yourself and your life and how you got to where you're at today.
Yeah, how much time we got? Anyway, no, I started studying when I was 16. Before that, it was astronomy. I could tell you everything about the planets. And I went to see an astrologer. A friend of mine took me, and I did not want to go. I'm a big skeptic of a lot of things, and I did not want to go. But that lady said some things she could not have known. So what's going on here? And at that time, I didn't want to go. We were smart. We had color TV and digital watches. So astrology? Ugh. But it worked. And if it works, then what does that say about philosophy, science, religion? Oh, that's fun stuff. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm, absolutely. So I started studying there. There were no colleges. I took some competency tests from the American Federation of Astrologers, and I was one of the youngest people to pass that test way in the long ago. But I had to do this full time or not at all. It was like I had to immerse myself in this or not at all. I didn't want to be a part-time astrologer. I didn't want to be, no, because this is such a deep study. You have to know philosophy and religion and psychology and relationships and career. And it's a well-rounded kind of education you have to get. And I've educated myself and done this. I've done radio shows and TV and all kinds of things to promote astrology.
Well, and I'm going to interrupt here and say, like, one of the things, there's a lot of things I love about you. And one of them is that you are well-rounded, and a lot of people have like religion segmented over here and astrology over here and theology over here. And really it really is this mix in this one huge pot that I love how you've pulled it all together. And when you're sharing information, you share it in such a way that people really get it and understand it.
Yeah, I say that, I have sometimes my brain has to be on Pluto, so I get a little scattered sometimes, but my feet are on the ground. I'm a Capricorn with a strong Saturn, so it's got to be proven to me. It's got to be real. It's got to be real in the real world or it ain't any good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there you have it, folks.
Yeah, my approach is really very psychological because, what's going on right now is we are being taught that we are psychological, emotional beings. Intellect is just a tool in our toolbox. And for the last, I don't know how many thousands of years, we've tried to lead with our intellect, thinking we're making choices out of our intellect and rationality, when actually it's out of emotion and psychology and conditioning. That's why people can believe one thing and see a fact right in front of them and go, ugh, because it doesn't fit their preconceived worldview. And now with what's going on, part of this is about making us realize that it is psychology, it is emotion. Getting into those two things is the pathway to spirituality. Because if you don't know
Mm.
yourself, how can you know what's going on out there? If you don't get
Oh my
psychological, then
God.
you end up being
And
a TV evangelist.
I totally agree with you on that, because that's the one consistent theme in the conversations that I have with my clients and those that come in to see me is you need to know what's going on in here. You need to know yourself, and everybody's looking way out here, or they're so the way I would say it is you're detached from yourself because
Mm-hmm.
you have no sense of who you really are
Yeah.
until you actually go inside and dive deep to figure that
Yeah,
out.
and then you don't know that until something in life does not fit what you're talking about, and you hit these or what you feel it should be, and there's a violation of expectations, and life shouldn't be this way. Well, it's not that life is wrong; it's that your ideas about what it should be are, and that's a wake up call. That's what's going on right
Hmm.
now. So yeah, know
Hmm.
thyself. There's a kingdom within. All kinds of religions have all kinds of sayings like that because it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so yeah, in this time period now, looking at astrology, all astrology is, it's what we're doing with this is we have these charts like this. Everybody's seen them to a
Okay.
certain degree, and they show the planets and the signs and this is just a map of the sky at a certain time. You could navigate around the solar system with this. It's a physical map, and
Yeah.
out of this, there are times when the planets they all move. They will be in tight formations, conjunctions, and that's what's
You
going
know what?
on
Can I,
now.
can I
In fact,
stop you just for a minute, Darrell?
sure,
Because one of the things that, and I have been through a lot of different astrologers over my
good,
centuries of
good.
living on
It's
this planet, right? But the one
yeah,
thing that I saw that was different with you is your and I'm not saying this right. How do you say it? Astrocartography?
astrocartography.
Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay, can you explain what that is? Because I'm sure I'm not the only
What it
one
is,
who
we take
initially had no idea what that was.
yeah. Well, this chart, when we have the chart like I just showed, it's a two-dimensional map, and the planets move through three-dimensional space. So what we have is
Hmm.
another way to look at where these planets are from a different perspective, and it looks kind of like this. This is my map. This is the United States, my map. And if you're in certain colored zones, certain planets will be stronger. And actually, it's just showing the daily solstices and equinoxes. There's a solstice and equinox every day, not then every year also,
Hmm.
but still, this is showing places. This is showing it like takes that two-dimensional map and turns it into a sphere. And this coloring system is something that I have developed myself, and it's based on the chart. Some of the ways some astrologers interpret these maps, to me, is just not correct. And then even some astrologers say oh, they don't even work that well because the standard way of interpreting them, I believe, is completely. Not completely, but there's one thing that you got to match it to the chart. Anyway, so I'm
Yeah.
able to do that. I wrote a paper about it, the scientific, the astronomical reasons why I'm looking at it this way, and I show this to other astrologers and tell them what it's based on, and they go, "Oh, of course, it's something that's so obvious." It's like anyway. So, but yeah, the astrophotography. I would not do a reading without the map. The map is just
Yeah.
as important as the chart itself. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know when I first through our journey together, and I was looking for my next office location, and we were looking at the way the map was and the different colors, which is
Hmm.
a lot of how I wanted to stay around the Wheaton Lombard. Wasn't sure if I should go
Hmm.
north or south, and the way
Hmm.
my map went was directly down the road to Wheaton, Lombard, Villa Park, and Lombard seemed to be like that central point, and
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. It's just made such a big difference in the growth of the business and just how I feel about being here and the
Yeah.
being energized and creativity and just so much more has come out of the information I
Hmm.
got from the chart that I didn't even know I would get by being in this space.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot here, and when I was born and raised and spent 50 years in Wichita, Kansas, and my map at Wichita looks like Harry Truman's Hiroshima. And yeah, it was all that. Worst place I could be. I moved to North Carolina where my best lines are. And I could tell you some
Hmm.
stories you would not believe about how the difference between the night and day. I mean, it's crazy. but but it works. So we follow it. I don't know how the TV works. I don't know how weather works, but I follow it anyway. So you don't have to
Yeah.
know how this
Right.
works. I have lots of ideas, and there's a lot of physical things we could talk about all that, but how it works doesn't really
Mhm.
matter that much right now.
Mhm. So let's talk
Yeah.
about these last 3 years. And one of the things that, as Darrel and I were talking about earlier, it was probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I had this sense about something coming up towards the middle to the end of 2019, but we would be hit with
Mhm.
something in 2020. And he's like, oh, yeah, it
Mhm.
shows in the chart and blah, blah, blah. But we really couldn't see exactly what it was. So, can you
Yeah.
talk more about that and the predictions over the
Yeah.
last 3 years and where we're at today?
Right. All of my clients know that January 12th of 2020 was a significant turning point. And after that point, my predictions were we would see who's on the side of reality and who is not very clearly. We would see there would be the bookend of the financial crash of 2008, and it may be worse. I even thought about an epidemic back in October, but I didn't want to bring that into the mix because I thought that the trashing of the Constitution was enough. And but so I thought, oh, maybe there'll be medical breakthroughs. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go positive with that. Medical, well, that's going to happen. But and this stuff, it's January 12th. It was the deal, and this is like an 248 year cycle. So picking a date, but January 12th, and I didn't. Again, it's. So all of my clients, when I did a reading for you, I had 2019 and 2020 underlined and highlighted, and I spoke a great deal about that being this is a time when we are going to be forced to
Mm-hmm.
learn how psychological we really are. And since we have demonized psychology in this country over the last,
Mm.
well, forever, we are absolutely our own worst enemies. These problems we have that can be traced back to psychological stuff. We do not lead with our intellect. And people that do, they think they're smarter than everybody else. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Look that up. That's cool. And it's and it's it, turn on the news and tell me we're rational people. So yeah, but that would be the deal. We would see, and there's another date coming up that I want to talk about at some point. Another
Okay.
significant date. Actually, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th right now is a significant turning point. Not as big as January 12th or what's coming up, but notice what's happening is Pluto is going to go backwards now. It's retrograde, going to retrograde, and we're going to try to go back to the way it was.
All right. So you
Really?
just said Pluto is going back in retrograde. I thought Mercury was the only one that went into retrograde, but then I thought Pluto
Hmm?
was not a planet. So what's with that?
Oh, Pluto's a planet. What happened in 2006? They discovered a new planet, Eris, in that orbit, in that same orbit. And since then, they've discovered a whole bunch of new planets. And I've put 7 of them in the charts, and I'm getting really good results from them. And Eris is
Huh.
the goddess of discord and strife. How many times have we heard discord and strife over the last year? Anyway,
Way too
but
many
it's not.
times.
That's not what it's about. That's its outcome if we do not do what Eris wants us to do. And
Yeah.
like Pluto wants us to understand our psychology. There's anyway, so Pluto is it's calling a dwarf planet now, and there's several others. Like I say, I'm putting in the chart, and I'm getting real good results from them. Haumea, Maki, and Orcus. Orcus is cool, but there. Anytime a new planet's discovered, when Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and other asteroids were discovered, there's a
Mm-hmm.
shift in consciousness. And this is something that
Mm.
first year astrology students study. The different when there's a conjunction, there was one in 1962, one in 1936, one in 1940. They happen fairly frequently, but the difference in how bad or good they are depends on the
Mm-hmm.
system in place when the conjunction starts. And our
When
system
you
was
say
so
system,
close.
what system are you talking about when you say system?
Our politics and finances. They talk about it
Gotcha.
being a good economy this last couple of years. Oh yeah, if you like
Yes.
a tall house of cards where there's no wind, then it's a great economy. But 2% growth, oh my God. Anyway, so yeah, the weaknesses will be shown. We're a debt society. Any kind of problem is going to really cut. And here we are. And it is a global thing. This conjunction is for everybody, all countries, all. And see, another thing that's happening is the United States is what we call at its Pluto return. Every 248 years, Pluto returns back to where it was. And if you study civilizations, you know that there's a 250-year cycle of ups and downs. And if the
Mm-hmm.
culture decides to remain in the past, and we already did that, the country,
Mm-hmm.
the civilization will go into a steep decline. And even without this virus, the United States was headed on a downhill slope very, very fast.
Yeah.
And not just financially, but socially. And yeah, this and the politics of division that started in 1994, and that was with, and I could go on and on about that, but still, we can't be against ourselves. I could rant on for days, but we don't want to do that. So
That we know.
yeah, I see what's
But
happening
it
is Pluto
doesn't
is
help if
revealing
we
what.
are against ourselves. That's kind of like, with autoimmune diseases, a lot of those autoimmune diseases occur because
Yeah,
our body, our cells, our organs are fighting against itself. So then it begins to break down. So
yeah. Who
I
was
can
it said a
relate it
house divided?
to,
Yeah, yeah. A house
yeah.
divided against itself cannot stand. Who said that? Yeah. Well, anyway. So, but we have to, and we have the opportunity now to create a new society, a new world. We're not going back the way it was. We can't turn the
Mhm.
clocks back. I have a grandfather clock in here, and the instructions specifically say, "Do if you have to change the time, do not push the hands back. You'll wreck the inner mechanism." So
Mhm.
anybody that wants to go back to the way it was, oh, they're in the way. It's a problem. But we got to give time for people to catch up as well. And we have enough resources in this country that if we did the charitable, forgiving, loving thing that we're
Mhm.
supposed to, being a Christian nation, we would not be sending people out to vote in Wisconsin or anywhere where they could catch COVID and die. This is a life and death matter. This is, I used to say, I don't like calling it us against them. I just don't like that. But now it's us against them because they are dealing in death. People that want to go out and because it's their right, their constitution. These people that say it's their constitutional right to go out and do what they want. Hell, they're the ones that supported the Constitution being trashed a year ago. So it's like people again. It's not rational. It's not logical. It's all emotional and psychological. But these people have been
Mhm.
programmed to believe stuff about the world and ourselves spiritually, religiously, and politically that's just simply not true.
So I'm going to take a sidestep here because as you talk
Okay.
about I call it the C word. So as you talk about the C19, there's all these conspiracy theories and all these other videos that have been created
Yeah.
with all kinds of. It's really hard to know what to believe, and so I'm just interested in your perspective. And I think I'm hearing it that what you're saying is COVID is a real thing, and that we do
Oh
need to
yeah.
be smart about our interactions and how we
Mm-hmm.
honor each other in the face of this. So,
Mm-hmm. So
what do you
so
want to
yeah,
say?
this is yeah, this is something that yeah, treating each other with kindness and respect and love. If we all do that, we'll get through this in fine shape. If we don't, Pluto's very extreme. It's like life or
Mm-hmm.
death is the issue. It's like you do this, you go this way, or the well, it's evolution. Evolution forces species out of existence and evolves new ones. And those species that can't evolve, which means being adaptable, not strongest, not smartest, are the ones that survive. But this is not an extinction
Mm-hmm.
level event. But
Mm-hmm.
again, it is an evolutionary and tipping point as well, because even before this, with the new planets, with climate change, with by the way, climate change is our friend. We would not be here without climate change because climate change drives evolution.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of living within the earth itself. We think of ourselves as being separate from the earth, separate from nature, and that's a
Yeah.
recipe for disaster because we are
Oh, of
creatures
course.
made by the earth itself. So for us to say
Yeah,
we're separate from it
absolutely.
is arrogant
Yeah,
and stupid.
yeah, yeah. And
I have
so,
strong
and
feelings
that's
about
what
it.
people. No, not at all.
Yeah.
I think on that note, it's time for a commercial break.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, yeah. Standing in the street, the sun is in the east. Yeah, yeah. Calling out the beast, the tiger underneath. Yeah, yeah. I'm starting to believe
I am so in love with these products. So I love that it's full spectrum. So it's using the whole plant for health, for healing, stress relief, and pain. You can go to kemp.com to order, and please use my sponsor number 689426. 689426. They have two new products when you go to the website that are amazing. They have Kemp Zero for those that cannot have any THC. For those of you in the front line needing help with your stress relief, this is amazing. And then they have a pain relief cream, which is seeps into the skin, so it's not like a gel or an oil that sits on top of the skin. It absorbs your body, and within moments, it's the pain is gone, or you have a whole lot more freedom of movement. And so I want to take you into a new program that we're starting. It's called Meditation by Design. This is going to be a weekly meditation program presented by me. So come enjoy a half hour of peace, healing, and relaxation beginning tomorrow, Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this is a free program, and donations are greatly appreciated. So what you will want to bring is a journal, pen, pencil, crayons, and be in a quiet, comfy place in your comfy clothes. And this is going to be very experiential. So we'll take you through a few different meditations, and then I'm going to have you do some journaling and write about what comes up for you. So when you come to the meditation, think about what is it you want to get out of being with us for that night and for that time. And I promise you, even 2 minutes of the meditation, it's been amazing to see what shifts and shows up for people and how they move forward and what they see during that time. So join us tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And back to Darrel.
Alluded a little bit ago about just some predictions coming up. Okay.
Yeah.
The next serious date is June 21st of this year. And what it is,
Okay.
it's the solstice. There is a solar eclipse that will be visible in Africa, parts of Asia, India, southern China. There's an eclipse every year. Every 6 months there's an eclipse. But when they happen at these times, it's the solstice, it's a new moon, and 7 of 8 planets will be retrograde. You mentioned retrograde planets. Mercury and Venus will both be retrograde, along with Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto. I mean, and any time that a lot of these
Like
planets
all
are
at the
retrograde
same
like this,
time?
all at the same time,
All at the
yes,
same
all at the same time.
time?
It's kind of rare, and when this happens, without any overarching type problem, things slow down in your business life, in your personal life. Things slow down. There's just not as much active. This you can go back in time and just and see it. It's not like you have to. It's a real thing. So at this time when that happens, given the circumstances, I have nothing to predict, but this is going to go very badly. And the reason, it's not because astrology says it's badly or I'm a negative person. It's that the way we've handled this so far, we're going to end up being quarantined from the rest of the world. Yeah, because we are handling this so badly.
You know what? I really did not want to hear that. I just really did not want to hear that.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
To the degree that we deny psychology is the degree of difficulty we are experiencing. There are a lot of people that are going to be initiated or have ideas that they want to reach out beyond their comfort zone. People call me when they're at wit's end. They go to the psychologist, go to the counselor. Let's call the wacky astrologer. People are going to be more inclined to step into a spiritual, psychological world. And we need to be there. And there's a lot of people. And again, I don't mean it to be bad, but this is reality. I mean, our financial system, it's not sustainable. Our situation with nature is not sustainable. We don't need a chart to tell us that.
Right.
So June 21st is the solstice. And it's not like something bad will happen, but just like today, Pluto stations and they're starting to open up some of the states, which is the absolute wrong thing to do, not astrologically, medically. I'll bet these people that are taking their medical advice from Trump, I bet if they have a broken leg or a problem, that they don't go to him for medical advice, yet they will with this. I mean, go figure. But see, but there's a lot of people like that. But
Yeah.
this is an opportunity to step into this new world, to promote ideas that are in this new world, this new economy, because we're not going back to the way it was. If we
Yeah.
try to go back to the way it was, and all, these people, there's a lot of millionaires who took money out of the small business fund with that kind of greed. I mean, you've got people who are trying to sink the ship. There are people on the air, and I'm not going to go that far, but I have a real negative example. But the thing is this is an opportunity. This is like, oh my God, we've always wanted to step out of this, the more money you have, the better person you are ideology. And I know we don't believe that individually, but we do believe that collectively. We believe that the person with the most money is the best person. I mean, otherwise Trump wouldn't have been elected, because I mean, and we got to face those facts about our shallowness to a certain degree about what we are doing. We've got to work with nature. Material security does not come from money or bombs or whatever. It comes from working within the confines of nature. If our houses, our cities were more organic, whoa, but see, we're all, so that's the way I see it. Yeah, I get real excited and real passionate. I'm a very emotional person, as you can tell. So,
No,
sometimes
not
people can't get
you.
over it. I have so much fire in my chart. It's like I can't sit still. It's like crazy, but oh well.
That's why your cat's
So yeah, that
tied
is.
up on
I
the
know
couch.
Yeah, I know it's depressing. I know people. That's why I didn't want to bring an epidemic into it, because that was back in October where it was that idea. There's another reason for that, but I didn't want to bring that kind of negativity into this. It was already bad enough.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to deal with this. Is a matter of life and death. And if you're in a car and it's a matter of life or death to keep that car on the road, someone's trying to take the wheel from you, you could die. So and I want, stay home and save lives. Stay home or you'll kill people. It needs to be in that harsh of a statement. But again, the positive is, this is the solstice coming up. This is an eclipse. Those are symbols of new beginnings. And when these planets all go direct, all that pent up energy that when they retrograde, they're almost like they withdraw. The energy isn't as strong. When they go direct, it's all there. So all the energy is there. And it takes people that are willing to step out of their comfort zone, people who are willing to step into a world that is not like their tribe, their whatever it is. That's what we need to do. And there's a lot of people that are willing to do that. And I really believe that there will be enough people that will come over to this side that we could create a heaven on earth. And all it takes is charity, forgiveness, and love. And we could have a heaven on earth.
Well, I have noticed, at least in the circle of people that I'm with, that more people are spending time in prayer and meditation, and more people are like looking at their community and their neighbors. How can I help you? What do you need? Where do you need support? And in a way that I've not seen. Yeah, it's super cool. And then I've also seen too, because I have clients that are working, and then I have clients that have either lost their jobs or they've been laid off, and then they're trying to figure out where they're going to get food. And it's been interesting to watch how everybody handles things so differently. I know some people have days that they just want to stay in bed, which I've had some of those days.
And then there's days I have cried.
Yeah. And then there's days it's like the creativity juices are flowing, and it's like, so I finished my meditation journal, and I've worked on actually getting my new programs out and about. And so one of the things I'm hearing from the people around me is, oh, I've worked on this project that I wanted to get done in forever, and now I have this new idea for a business that I can actually do online. So new ideas are being spurred. And so is that some of what you're talking about?
Oh yeah, when the charts I've been doing for people, it's like this year there's a lot of like influences talk about slowdowns and problems, but a lot of people starting with January of 2021 are having these really good influences, especially people who are in this this community of trying to create spiritual and psychological awareness.
Mhm.
It's like some of them are just having the best influence. It's like, and it's not like they're going to get what they want, but there'll be opportunities to move in productive directions. And when I say productive, I'm not necessarily talking about money. I'm talking about psychology and spirituality, because if we take care of those
Mhm.
things, the rest will follow. But yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that in a lot of people's charts. It's really good coming up. So I see that and it's like, oh, that gives me hope. That's like, yeah, let's. But again, I do want to stress that even though this is terribly negative, viruses are a part of the earth. This has happened before. It'll happen again.
Yeah.
And those
True.
cannot, I mean, it's so this is part of, this is what being human is. This is what being on earth is about. We are not here to see how simple and safe and comfortable we can make ourselves. That is not the function of being on earth. And people that do that end up unhappy, unfulfilled, and stagnant. Ask anybody.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, so we are here to do that. And now we're being forced to. That's actually a good thing. We will
Yeah.
come out. I just hate that there's so much death around and people doing stupid things and going out and killing other people. But the world always has people like that. They always will.
Yeah.
But we have to. And another thing I'm saying is, you must vote in November. And I don't mean to, yes, I do mean to be, this is not political. We do not have a political divide in this country. We do not, it's a moral divide. They say if Trump were to shoot someone on 52nd Street, no one would do anything. You know why that is? It's because a lot of his followers are that immoral. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, absolutely. So what we have to do is face this that way. There's always will be people that think that. But we
Yeah.
cannot rid the world of them. They have their own path. God love them. They're trying to do their best with what they have. It's just conditioning. It's just habit. But now it's time to break that habit. We are being deprogrammed is what's happening. It's like the cult of Trump. These people are like in a cult. And what we have to do, the deprogramming, when someone's been in a cult for a long time, the deprogramming that has to take place is often very
Mhm.
painful. That's what's happening
So,
right now.
so let me ask you. So, okay, so there's the 5G, and there's lots of conversations and story around 5G and how it's depressing the
Yeah.
immune system, and then that potentially being the cause of what's going on right now. What's your take on that?
Well, I
Or
don't know. There's not
do
enough
you have an
evidence.
opinion about that?
Yeah, I've got to have some evidence in front of me to look at. I don't see
Yeah.
any evidence of that, but there has not been really any studies done. But I have to believe that putting a powerful electromagnet and receiver right up to your head, can't be good.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't know about that because that's something that has going to have some study to find out. But it goes back to the idea of, what about working with nature instead of like this high technology thing? All it would take is a small meteor to hit the Earth, and we'd be back where we are right now. There's been
Hmm.
extinction level events every 100 years or so. There's something that happens on the Earth that if it happened today, we'd be back to the Stone Age. There was a solar corona ejection in 1859, the Carrington event. There was a meteor burst over Tunguska, anyway, in Russia. That if it happened over New York, millions of people would be dead. This is part of
Yeah.
Earth. We are dynamic. We are evolving. So as people, as individuals, we also are dynamic and evolving because we are a reflection of the Earth that created us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Karen,
And I
hi
believe
Karen.
in God.
Hi
Oh, we have a question.
Charlene.
I believe in God and all that. So
Well,
I'm not
people
saying
are
whether
just
it be anything.
saying hi right now.
Yeah. So yeah, and it really is that simple. Live within the confines of nature, and there is a cornucopia of abundance. Sounds like a contradiction.
Hmm.
Work within the limits, and you can have a lot. Yeah, it's like airplane flying. If we live within the limits of aerodynamics, we can fly. But if we don't,
Yeah.
we crash and burn. And again, that's just reality. So we are on
Hmm.
a dynamic planet. The Earth under our feet moves 2 miles up above us, and you're dying. We live on a two-dimensional surface of a three-dimensional sphere. We are two-dimensional creatures with a three-dimensional thickness. We can go this way, that way. We can't go up or down without heavy equipment. It's a
Mhm.
two-dimensional world with three-dimension thickness. And it's only 2 miles thick on the surface of a planet that's a raging fireball under our feet. And I mean, if we really thought about where we were in the universe, it would terrify us. But if we thought about where we are in the universe in terms of our psychology and spirituality, it's
Mhm.
awesome. It's like that we're
Mhm.
even here is just a miracle. Scientists say we're molecules that bumped into each other and poof, here we are. Oh no, no, no. There's other energies around us. Just like iron filing on a magnet will make pretty patterns. Oh yeah, DNA is the
Yeah.
same way. There's an energy there where those molecules they can congregate around and form this. So there's an
Yeah.
energy, there's a presence, and I believe that energy has our best interest at heart. Right now
Yeah.
is a
Let
timeout.
me,
The universe said
so,
your clock said you got. Mhm.
yeah. So Marianne, not to stop you, and I did. Marianne says,
No,
"What
that's fine.
about nature
I'll
is just fighting back over man's disrespect," which is kind of like what we were just, or what you were just
yeah,
sharing about the dishonoring
yeah,
of nature and really not
yeah,
taking care of Mother Earth.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I thought it would be something like a natural disaster, like a huge hurricane hitting Washington or something that would really wake people
Mm,
up. But the virus, it's a really brilliant way to make us all stop and say, "Oh, what the hell's going on here? And what am I
mhm.
doing? Not what should other people do? What am I doing? How am I
Yeah.
contributing to the problem?" Because in any situation, there's always several people, and everybody contributes to the problem in some way, shape, or form. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah,
Well, I
the
think a lot
nature,
of times
yeah,
the way we're set up right now is we're always looking at everybody else being responsible for something, and then, "Hey, Marty,
God,
hi, thank you,"
yeah, and I've got my
and
money, and
so
y'all
instead
can
of
go.
us like being responsible.
Yes. Yeah, and it's up to us, and there are just certain things that we have to do. I mean, every day to live and prosper. And part of that, like getting dressed and taking care of ourselves and eating and sleeping and taking care of each other, is just as important. I mean, we are here to learn from and evolve through each other. We each have a
Yeah.
piece of the pie, so to speak. And if we can get it
Mhm.
together, an emergent property comes out of that, something that's greater than the sum of its original parts.
Yeah.
And we can have that, and we have had that, and we can have that again. But it's got to be in conjunction with some other values that we demonize today. So it has to be different. We try to go back,
Yeah.
we're going to wreck the mechanism of that clock, and it just won't work. So yeah, so it could get real bad financially and but spiritually and psychologically. But that's what
Mhm.
life is about. It is about psychology and spirituality. So that's what we're here. We have been given, life has given us a timeout. You've messed up the environment. You're not treating each other right. So go sit in the corner for 10 minutes. So we're all sitting in the corner going, but I was doing my thing. Just, we're like little kids. We're a young species. We're like little kids. I have my candy.
Yeah.
You can't have any because it's mine. And there's, but we're, like I said, we're a young species. We're learning. We've
Yeah.
only been on the earth for,
Mhm.
200,000 years. Uh, so we'll get there. I believe so.
Yeah.
This is a huge speed bump, but some
Well,
people, if
I
your
would
house
like
and
to say
cars,
hopefully sooner than later. So,
oh, me too.
but yeah, yeah.
But just like
So,
your body has
any
to
last
build
words?
immunity, this takes time.
Yeah, yeah. So, really, thank you for being on Shelly Live
Oh,
today.
okay.
Any last words for our audience here?
Take care of yourself, and each other, as Jerry Springer would say. But at the same time, this is part of, for lack of a better term, the plan. Mother Nature isn't fighting back. Mother Nature's just
Yeah,
doing her things. We're the one that
yeah,
messed up the cage, and Mother Nature's
yeah.
just doing her thing. And if for some reason, whatever, we end up destroying ourselves, then in a few million years, another species will have a go at it. It's up to us.
Yeah.
We have free will, and we can exercise it and create a heaven on earth or the other way.
Right. Yeah, we get to choose it for sure. So I think, Darrell, we're going to have you back for a part two. So I've really
No,
enjoyed
cool. All
having you
right.
on today. Yeah.
I
And
apologize for interrupting so much. I just get excited. I just, so, yeah.
so, all right. Well, where do we go from here?
You
I
know,
think that's the question.
I don't know. It depends on how we behave. It's like anything. Will the hurricane hit us? Will we be damaged? It depends on what you do. If you batten down the
Yeah.
hatches, and you'll probably be all right. But if you don't, you want to go play golf during a thunderstorm, have at it. But I think there's enough
Woo.
people now. I'm really encouraged by how many people are following the isolation rules. That's really
Yeah.
comforting to me. I talk about the people who aren't. There are so many people that are. Boy, that's encouraging.
Yeah. I actually, for the first time, ordered groceries online the other day, and it actually worked out pretty good. I was
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised. So
Yeah.
it worked out to be a pretty good deal. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm Shellie Carter of Shellie Live. We look forward to seeing you under the alder tree or Shellie Live real soon. Be sure and join us tomorrow for Meditation by Design. It should be fun and engaging, and leave messages if there's questions you have or things you want me to bring up in the meditation tomorrow, because it's going to be more than a meditation. We'll actually be doing some energy healing. And Darrel, hang on for just 1 second. And we
Sure.
thank you all and have a blessed night.